talk today a little bit about something I see a lot of my clients doing, which doesn't serve them very well, and that is black and white thinking. Black and white thinking is when we have a big idea, a big dream, and we think that we need to get to that dream, but we're not prepared to take the middle steps to get there. It's also a different way to describe perfectionism. So if we're not completely perfect, we believe, many of us, then we are absolutely flawed. If we haven't achieved our dreams, then we are absolutely a failure. And that is a completely self-sabotaging idea. When I say it out loud, it makes sense. Nevertheless, many of us fall into this trap, myself included, I would say, at a younger age. So I like to give the example of writing a book, which fortunately I've had the opportunity to do. First, we have an idea for a book. And we think and we think and we dream and we wish and we think to ourselves, oh, wouldn't it be wonderful to write this big book? It's the same with any dream that we might have, to start a business, to have a family, to travel the world. It starts out as a very big idea with a lot of unknowns and a lot of variables that can be pretty terrifying. So we start with an idea and we dream about this idea and it becomes very important to us. It's big in our hearts. And oftentimes we become so overwhelmed by the enormity of this idea that we quit before we even get started. We decide we're not the sort of person who can actually pull this off. And so we set it aside and we decide that lesser things will be enough. Well, sometimes lesser things are enough, but also sometimes we're good enough to make that dream a reality. Many more times, I think, than we imagine. So let's go back to the example of writing a book. We have a big idea for this book. It seems completely out of our range to accomplish. Who are we to think we could write a book, right? The key is when we're in this state of mind to acknowledge the dream, even write about the dream, talk about the dream, and then bring it back in and think to yourself, what are the first steps I need to take to realize this dream? And then make a decision to take that step. When it's complete, consider what is the very next step I need to take. Take that step and keep moving forward logically, consistently, and enthusiastically. And eventually, you're quite likely to make your dream a reality or to discover a different dream along the way that's equally appealing and perhaps equally seemingly unreachable. So when I decided to write a book, it was incredibly overwhelming and intimidating. And I had my idea after many years of thinking about it. This is something that can take years, but I finally settled on my idea. I knew what I wanted to do, and just the idea of it could bring me close to a panic attack. So I made a decision. I am going to simply write one page every day for a single year. And at the end of that year, I'll have 356 pages. It could be absolute trash. It could be part trash, part gold. It could be more gold than I could imagine. But either way, I'm going to have a rough draft for a book at the end of 1 year. And once I got that idea in place, I set aside the bigger ideas, the bigger dreams, and I just put myself to the task of completing that single page daily. Did I miss some days? I sure did, absolutely. And what did I have at the end of this year? Sad to say, basically a pile of trash. But it was a pile of trash that I could build on, and I did. And I reworked the book after I had that first rough draft for several years until finally it was something that I felt good about and I felt proud of. And I felt that I had achieved my initial vision. It's not because I'm so special or I'm so smart or I'm so disciplined or anything else. The only reason I got this task done was because I had a big idea and then I dialed it back to see what the smaller steps were to get the idea done, and I took those steps consistently. Anybody can do this. If you have a dream and you're falling prey to black and white thinking it all has to happen right now or will never happen, or I have to be perfect in order for this to happen, or at least close to perfect. If you're thinking those things, that's self-sabotage. It will never get you anywhere and it will waste a lot of your time. Instead, acknowledge your dream, the beauty of it, the excitement of it, and then bring yourself back into more immediate reality and think, what is the first step I need to take to get there? And once that step is complete, what is the next step I need to take to get there? You will be amazed at what you are capable of in this life. And might I remind you, we only have this one. As far as I know, I could be wrong about that. We need to make as much of this one beautiful life as we can. I encourage you to go out there, dream a dream, and then take the steps that are needed to make it a reality. I hope this had some kind of positive impact on your thinking today. You can find me on PsycheFinder.com if you'd like to give me any feedback whatsoever. I always welcome it. And I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks for watching.